Hi, my name is Tim and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be looking at something a little different. We're going to look at the new online guitar course by Nita Strauss. She released it 3-4 days ago. Let's go and have a look. So the course is aimed at everybody. There's a little bit for everybody. So the course is split into 3 modules. There's module 1, which is aimed at beginners and entry level. Module 2, which is aimed at intermediates, and Module 3, which is more advanced. There's some advanced techniques. So it's laid out well. You can see all the modules and where everything is going. And as you open each drop-down menu, you can see each lesson kind of pinned in. She covers a lot. She goes through a lot of tunings. She shows 3 or 4 different methods on how to tune your guitar depending on what guitar you've got. If you want to tune with a floor tune or a pedal, if you want to tune with harmonics, and if you want to just tune the guitar relative to each other. Inside the video you can go through 2 of the songs that are from her album, which is good because it's always nice to learn, you know, from the horse's mouth, so to speak. You can already learn one of the songs from an online lesson that she did with, I think it was Sweetwater or Guitar Center or Guitar World or something, where she teaches you this song, but it's always handy to have it somewhere else. All the relevant lessons come with tab and notation. I'm going to judge this kind of on 3 different criteria. I'm going to look at the quality of the content, I'm going to look at how well it's taught, and we're going to look at value for money. So it starts off, it's $49.50, I think, and then that's currently at half price. She covers a lot. She goes through a lot, from starting off at tuning the guitar right the way through to sweep picking, whammy bar techniques. Tapping. So when we look at open chords, she has 1 lesson on that, and she shows you the 5 or 6 basic kind of open chords in a really simple strumming pattern, and then that's kind of it. That's kind of where open chords are left. They're left kind of at lesson 4. So I really would have liked to have seen a few more open chords and maybe some different strumming patterns to get people strumming along. Maybe some ideas and suggestions for a few simple and basic easy songs. Power chords she goes into. It's also aimed more at rock and metal, so if you're looking at folk, country, blues or jazz, this probably isn't the course for you. There's a good emphasis on playing to a metronome, a lesson that's dedicated to how to practice with a metronome and how to play it, which is good. The only thing is I would have liked to have seen all of her lessons and all of her lines and all of her scales that she plays throughout the course play to a metronome or play to a click. If you're going to highlight that playing with a metronome is important, then I think all of the lessons and all of the studies that we do within the course should be played to a click. She does keep everything really light and engaging. A lot of online videos and a lot of online masterclasses, they kind of suffer a lot with, they kind of get a bit draggy and a bit, and now we're going to play the minor pentatonic scale, and it's like she does sort of keep the energy up and keeps it moving, which when you're doing really basic beginner guitar stuff, it can be really hard, and you've really got to try and keep the energy up, which I think she does really, really well. The lessons that she does go into in terms of some of the intermediate stuff, like she has a 20-minute video on modes of the major scale. Now, 20 minutes on the modes is nowhere near enough, but she kind of covers the absolute basics. So if you've got no understanding of modes of the major scale, you'll get a fairly good understanding of what they are and how they work. If you wanted to go deeper into something like that, you're going to need to find a different resource. Bending and vibrato she looks at, which is a surface level introduction. She doesn't do a deep dive on anything really. It's all very first lesson, introduction, here we go, this is your first time having a go at sweep picking, we're just going to look at the absolute basic. Or if you're looking at whammy bar techniques or bending and vibrato, modes, pentatonic scales, it's all entry level stuff. The title of the lesson is fundamentals, so if you're expecting kind of a deep dive into something, then you're not really going to get it here. But having said that, if you're brand new to guitar, if you've never looked at it, you've never picked up, this gives you a really good grounding in open chords, power chords, major and minor, bar chords, minor pentatonic scales, major scales, and some of the modes, well, all of the modes. So let's take a look at one of the lessons.
Welcome to Basic Open Chords. Now these are the chords that most people learn when they first start playing the guitar, and today they're going to be the first chords that you learn. So there are 2 basic types of chords, major and minor. We're going to get way more into the differences between them later on, but the main thing you need to know is major chords sound happy and minor chords sound sad. And that's really, it's oversimplifying it, but that's the main difference. These are called open chords because they use open strings. And you guys already know what open strings are. It's these guys, just strumming the string without fretting any of the notes. So let's look at our first open chord, which is going to be E major. Ta-da!
So you can see that it's quite light, it's quite entertaining, and yeah, you want to kind of sit through it, and it's not some kind of old guy with an old guitar teaching you to play Michael Row Your Boat Ashore or something like that, or Kumbaya. So I would say the quality of the content is good, but it really depends on where you are with your guitar playing. If you are, as I've said, if you're an absolute beginner, then the quality of the content is very, very high. You get a lot of lessons. She covers a lot of areas, and it's going to take you a long time to get through the course. If you're an intermediate guitar player, literally most of module 1 you're going to just not even bother with, you'll skip straight through. It will take you from knowing nothing about pentatonic scales and major scales and modes, and take you on a little journey through how they are found on the neck, how you can start looking at creating your own guitar solos. If you've never looked at anything like tapping, sweeping, legato, then this again will take you on it's a nice introduction into that world. There isn't anything on alternate picking. The only reason I can think of is that it's not part of her repertoire. There's also nothing on hybrid picking. Again, I can only assume that that's not part of her repertoire, which isn't a bad thing, but it's always nice to kind of see those kind of things covered, because then you've kind of got most of the techniques that you can find in rock and metal. I would say that it's taught really, really well. She doesn't come across as someone who has been teaching for a long time, but she's got quite a nice, relaxed kind of feel about her, which is a great way to get music ideas and music theories and musical concepts across to other people. So I would say that it's taught really well. Value, I would say at coming in for $50, £40, depending on where you are in the world. The problem you have with these kinds of instructional videos that try and tailor to everybody is you try and satisfy and please everybody, from beginners all the way up to advanced players, and what you end up doing is not pleasing anybody. I would say, because there are so many free resources out there, if you've never played guitar and you're looking at starting, there are people like Justin's Guitar, Marty Schwartz. Even I've got lessons on my own channel where you're introduced to basic chords, basic strumming in simple songs, starting at $1, starting at £1, or in some cases they're free. So when you're charging £50, if you want to part people with their money, I think you have to give them something really special, something that is a little bit niche, something that is unique, and something that can't be found anywhere else. And I really don't think that this does that. If you want to part with your money because you're a fan, or because you've been following her a while, then I can't stop you. I would say that coming in at $50, I would say that this isn't very good value for money. I would perhaps look elsewhere. And that's not to say that she isn't good at what she does, that she's not a good musician or a good guitar player, because that's blatantly not true. There's a few issues with post-production. There's a couple of bits that I think that she should maybe go back and take another look at. There's a backing track that she plays along to, and the backing track is played with a speaker that's obviously somewhere in the room, and then there's a guitar amplifier which is somewhere else in the room, and it's all picked up by one microphone, and it just, the sound quality is really it's really quite bad. It would have been much nicer to record have the backing track played in post-production, the guitar played live, and then everything is kind of mixed after the video is shot, but it's not, it's all kind of done live. So
I'm just going to show you these same scale patterns, how they work, playing them in G major over changing chords.
like it was rushed and pushed through a little too quickly. There's also a couple of places where she's playing along to a click and she moves well out of time.
Once you've done that, I want you to double time your downstroke. And what that means is play 2 where you would have played 1. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do it.
Which, again, is one of those things that you just re-record it. And there's a couple of guitar lines that she does where there's a quite a horrendous mistake, which would have just spend another 5 or 10 minutes, go back, re-record it and get it spot on.
So anytime you're using the pentatonic, you can always just throw that in.
These are the kind of things that if you want people to part with their money, you're going to need to make sure that these are 100% done perfectly, that the audio is crisp, everything can be heard. And on this, it just really wasn't. I would say that at $50, this isn't value for money. You're much better off trying to find a resource from someone else online. There's thousands of channels on YouTube that are offering the exact tuition for free or for literally a few dollars. Having said that, learning a couple of her songs that she's done on her latest album from her is pretty cool, but I don't think it's $50 cool. I don't think that's worth $50 or £40 or 45 euros, or depending on where you are, whatever that is in your currency. What I think she possibly should have done is one video or one course aimed specifically at beginners or specifically at intermediates or specifically at advanced players, because she can play. There's no question in that. It suffers from the old adage of you're trying to please everybody and you end up pleasing nobody. So, and it was just a shame because I really wanted to like it. I've just started kind of getting into that kind of neoclassical sweeping and tapping kind of thing over the last 6 months. So when I bought it, I thought there'll be a nice section in that I can, use in my own playing in my own practice. But as I've said, it was very entry level. So to sum up, I would say that the quality of the content is good, minus some of the post-production and some of the click issues that went on throughout the video. I would say that it's taught very well, but coming in at $50, I would say it's not value for money.
I am not a number. I am a free man.
That's my overview and my opinion on the I Want to Play Guitar rock course by Nita Strauss. If you found the video useful or interesting, please subscribe to the channel. There are lots of videos yet to come and already uploaded, and the button is just down there. And yes, I will catch you on the next video. All right, thank you. Goodbye.